Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Naija Knows. We are back and ready with more topics, more stuff to talk about, and get some opinions and maybe some facts, some stuff that we have been thinking about mulling over. I am Nika, and then we have
Alicia.
Oh, Tori.
And Naija Day.
Okay, y'all. So I said this before. We do have like an order based on like how I see it on the screen, but sometimes it don't always flow that way either.
It's okay. We're ready for this topic.
Right? Which is healthy communication, because I should have communicated that clearer.
She did communicate. It was, yeah. Out of order. Sorry.
So we're talking about healthy communication in a relationship, not just romantic, but any type of relationship, because obviously that's how you interact with people. That's how you bond with people, is through communication. So, I'm not the best communicator. I will admit that, because I'm just not a big talker, number one. Number two, I like to think things over, and sometimes I actually do forget what I was going to say. But Howard, what type of communicators are you? I'm more of like let me think about it. Unless I'm really, really mad, then I got to say it right then. I kind of think things over before I, communicate something, not just issues, but, anything good or bad. I tend to think about things, probably overthink things a lot. Felicia, what kind of communicator are you?
It depends on the situation. I definitely have noticed I can shut down or I'll be ready to cuss you out. That's 9 times out of 10, that's my first instinct. I want to cuss you out because who the fuck are you? But a lot of times I do retreat and I think, and somewhat like you, Nick, I overthink and I'll ignore you.
Okay.
If it's really bad, especially in relationships, and it's not good. I know that's bad. But if you piss me off to that level, it's like that protects you. I'm protecting you. I'm not really doing it for myself. I'm doing it for you. Because if I say what I want to say in that moment, we're probably gonna be done. So yeah.
Gotcha.
I'm a work in progress, y'all. I'm really am a work in progress.
He's still working on me. God ain't through with me yet.
There it is. Amen.
Oh, what about you, Tori?
I think I'm the opposite. I am a talker. I'm sure that's no surprise to anybody. I'm definitely a talker. And I don't like unresolved or unsettled feelings, because I feel like if I let them simmer, then that's when I start to overthink and I come back with way more. And that's when I do my overthinking. And, I'd rather talk things out while they're there. Obviously, if it's like a blow up or something, we all gotta, ding ding, go to corners, cool. Or we need to go take a walk, cool. But like when I'm mad, that's actually when I retreat. Like when I get real mad, I don't lash out, I retreat for the same reasons. Like I'm not trying to make you cry. But I'm trying to like make sure that what I got to say is going to be heard. So I don't yell. I'm not a yeller. I don't scream at all. I make sure even when I'm upset that I'm very clear, because I need you to hear me. I'm not gonna sit scream, because the moment you start screaming, I'm not listening. And if I start screaming, I know you're not listening. So I'm gonna come back when I can speak in a very calm manner to make sure you hear me, and you hear me the first time, so I don't have to repeat myself. But any other time, I'm here to talk about any and everything, uncomfortable or not. I'm always happy for an uncomfortable conversation, because get it over with. Push forward.
True. What about you, Day?
I think it's a combination of several things. I think when I was younger, I was more so, nah, you gonna hear this now. It's fresh. Come get these hands, come get this tongue, whatever it is. I'm gonna say what I want to say. But I think as I learned, it's also depending on who you're dealing with. Like I already realized, like with my husband, he's not a type of person that if you in the heat of it and those feelings are fresh, sometimes I know what I'm going to say is going to be heavy. So sometimes I'm like, okay, do you have the bandwidth to have this conversation? Because I got some stuff that I need to kind of release. And then other times it's like, okay, well, we're both in the headspace. Sometimes I'll give myself that space to be like, you know what? this tongue is a sword, and I'm going to say some things that I don't feel like apologizing for later. So let me go ahead and let me gather my thoughts. Let me not overanalyze, but let me just make sure that I have the right approach as well. So I also start considering the person that I want to speak to. If you're someone that I know that can receive it and you can take it as there, then I'll do it. But if not, I'm like, okay, this person, let me see how their day was going. Let me see if they're ready to have this conversation, because I'm more mindful of mental space now. So I start to ask people, do you have the bandwidth? Do you have the mental capacity to have a deep conversation? If not, then let me go ahead and put in my notebook and make sure I get all my points, and maybe we'll talk about it another day or a little bit later in the day. But yeah, I think it's a combination of things. It depends on who you're talking to. It depends on how you're feeling, but just gauging and just saying, okay, let me not come at people next sideways unless it's warranted.
So
So
what
being
about
married, oh, I'm sorry.
oh, go ahead.
So being married, you haven't had any blow ups because I mean, you process and you deal with things from what I'm hearing really well. I commend you. I'm gonna be like you when I grow up.
I ain't say I always get it right. No.
That's what I'm asking.
I'm not saying I always get it right, but I've learned just with us, being in, seeing someone every day, that's also a big change. And you're learning more about them. And again, I have the ability, because he works from home, to kind of see how his day is progressing. So when I see that he's frustrated or whatnot, even if it's something I'm like, damn, I need to get this off my chest, I'm like, well, how was your day? It wasn't too good. I noticed you was a little frustrated. Well, I need to talk to you about something. So, do you feel like you can handle that today, or do we need to talk about it tomorrow? But there's been some times I was kind of, hey, yeah, yeah, yeah. And he was like, whoa, oh, hey, 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 girl, you better go and sit down somewhere.
All right now.
Well, speaking of husband, in the case of family, let's talk about family. How do you, communicate? I'm a person that, kind of like what y'all been saying, it depends on the person. I do find that from family, I'll be way more willing to take more. Just that's how it's been in life than I would from any random person on the street. Like if you're my family, I'm more likely to, either not try to argue with you or take straight up verbal abuse, as what it's been at times, because I love you. So I consider that relationship. And I do try to be understanding, kind of what you said, of the other person's mental state. But that has at times been detrimental to me, because now I'm considering your piece, but you're clearly not considering mine. And I'm not considering mine either, by saying, hey, stop, enough is enough. I'm the person that, like, I'll take it, take it, take it, take it. And then once it's at a boiling point and that teapot goes off and it whistles, it's very loud. And the best thing is just to move out of my way, because I'm also a person, I'm not going to talk. My first instinct isn't want to swing. Another reason why I don't talk, because we going to fight. Let's just fight and get it over with. But with family, it can be a little bit more difficult, especially in a parent-child relationship, when you're communicating things with them that maybe you don't feel they did right, especially in those cases. How do you all handle, those? Let's just hone in on the parent-child relationship, healthy communication with your parents. Is that possible? Is it something you've done successfully? I have not all the way. Maybe in recent, but my mom has passed away, so that chance kind of is not there. But how about y'all?
I don't know.
My
I think
mom's in a nursing home. I can't have that conversation with her.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Sorry.
I think with family, I actually tend to be a lot sharper with family. Um, it's actually a little bit easier for me, including, and it notwithstanding my own parents. It took a while. I've always been very vocal, but even more so with family, because I feel like as family, they should treat you, if we are family, because people like to throw that out there a lot of time, family, 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 but family sometimes can be the first one to try your boundaries because they know you the best and they know how to knock on that door real quick. And so for me, no, if you're my family, you know me, here you go. Like I find that I'm a lot sharper with my family than others, and they will hear everything that I need to say, including I'm gonna love you from afar. Because if you actually love me and respect me, you wouldn't talk to me like this. You wouldn't treat me like this. And we're supposed to be family. You don't treat your friends like this. So why are you going to treat me like this? Otherwise, I was like, and if that's how you're going to move forward, you can do that from over there.
Right.
Like the whole thing of blood being thicker than water kind of thing. That's not even the whole saying. It's like the blood of the covenant is actually thicker than the water of the womb, which means that those around you that treat you like family, that show you that they are family to you like that, then, you know, those are your family, not necessarily what's in the womb or by blood. That doesn't necessarily mean anything. I've been treated worse by family than by complete strangers. So for me, I find that I'm a lot sharper with family, and it's easier for me to shut stuff down and be like, no, I'm not here for that, because respect is earned for me when it comes to them, especially for some reason, especially that. So I think I give more leniency to, I guess, strangers and friends because they may not know me as deep as family does. And so I find it easier to, you know, come from family than I
Yeah.
do friends.
Yeah. What about you, Houston?
I think the older that I get, even with friends, you're gonna learn today. It's like, you know, these are the boundaries. Even when talking about parental relationships, I feel that I've had way more productive conversations now just because I know how to approach a conversation, especially when you're dealing with Afro-Caribbean parents. You can't go in with you know what you did wrong when you was raising me, because they don't hear that. They just hear what I did wrong, and you don't know what I was going through when I was raising y'all. And I'm like, okay. Sometimes I just sit here and talk at a medium tone. Sometimes I have to say, hey, why are you raising your voice? I am talking just like this. There's no need to raise your voice. You can say what you got to say without yelling. Hey, can I have an opportunity to finish what I'm saying? Before, when you're younger, it's kind of like you didn't even have the opportunity to say, Bim, are you talking when I'm talking? I'm like, I was literally about to yawn, but I guess it looked like it was an attack, and now I'm getting more licks for whatever. So I think now that I'm older, we're having more productive conversations. But again, just as everyone said, just because you're blood related does not mean that you have the right to disrespect me, cross boundaries, or hurt me. And I think that that's sometimes in our community, we get so, oh, you got to stick with family, you got to stick with family. But then again, family is the same one that's like, again, abusing your kindness, your gestures, whatever the case may be. So I agree. Sometimes you're going to have to set that boundary and be like, hey, we're family, but look here. I done told you so many times you keep doing the same thing. So when I don't speak to you and I distance myself from you, don't tell everybody I'm acting brand new. It's not, because I got the receipts. Let's not go there, because I will scroll through them.
Right. Yeah, that was a long lesson for me to learn. I'm not gonna get too personal, but y'all know what I'm talking about. For the people that don't know, it's definitely a family type situation. And it wasn't until, talking to my dad about some things, and then finally got some peace probably within the last like 5 or 6 years about just not, not even trying, because it's like, it doesn't even matter what you do at this point. Clearly the issue is personal and there's nothing you could do about it. So there's no point in trying to, in my mind, I'm trying to, because the way I am, like if I love you, I feel like a certain protective of you. So if I know that, you've experienced certain things or certain things have gone, even when you're attacking me, I don't necessarily always take it personal. I see that, okay, that they're, projecting whatever they're going through. But again, once a boundary has been set and it's continually crossed, and now like it's become a whole thing and I don't even know what the actual problem is at this point. It's like, well, hey, I can't do nothing about it. God is good and let him do what he do. And it doesn't stop anything I got going on. So it definitely was a long, harder lesson for me to learn. And at first I thought it was even gonna be painful, but it actually wasn't. It's actually like, oh,
Yeah,
okay.
This is really easy.
Like, oh, okay. All right.
I feel all right.
I'm okay. I think other people think I'm supposed to feel some sort of way because, it's definitely come up. Well, what am I? Y'all talk about it more than I do, so I don't feel no type of way at this point, you know. So family definitely can be a little, for me, has been a little bit more difficult, but I'm glad I am where I am now.
Mhm.
What about, I mean, we kind of touched on romantic relationships. I know I said I'm not the best when it comes to communicating in a relationship. Like, I'm gonna tell you what I think or what I feel or, you know, whatever we're talking about. But in the instance of like anger, I can go off and my mouth is brutal. Like it's very bad. And I'm very aware of that. So I've had to, and if I say it, I'm not sorry because I've already thought about it. So that's why I do like make sure.
It's premeditated.
You know, this is I found myself in a habit now. I ask people, are you saying that with your whole chest? Because I know how I am. When I say something, I'm saying it with my whole chest. So is that what you're doing? Yeah.
Right.
Are we playing that
What
game
you're
you want to
saying.
play?
One of the best things that I heard, and I mean, I'm not necessarily her biggest fan, but I remember Jada said something about when it comes to arguing, you have to like ask yourself, is what I'm about to say constructive or destructive? And if I know what's about to come out is destructive, I'm gonna walk away. And I know I've said that to a few people that I've dated before, where I'm like, look, I ain't got nothing constructive and loving to say right now. It's all nasty. So I'm not gonna say anything. You can talk, but I'm not gonna say anything until I feel like I can contribute and help us go to a positive place. Because right now I'm not, and I've gotten really good at kind of like keeping my peace around that. And I like to listen to people and hear where they're coming from before I speak. Just because I feel like, especially in relationships, like I know I don't know everything, and I know I don't know where the other person necessarily is coming from. So I do, when I want to listen, I try to listen to understand, and then I will let them talk to exhaustion. And then it's like, all right, have you said everything that you needed to say in this moment? And they're just like, well, yeah. And it's like, all right, now shut the fuck up and
Listen to me.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
speak. And I was like, I'm gonna speak and very clear. And I know that I'm either gonna put on my corporate voice. So I'm very clear. I'm going to I'm going to start speaking legalese if I need to, corporate ease if I need to. This is going to be a Zoom meeting.
My last
I
email.
need you to ask for my last email, ho. And this is why, and it's and that's my biggest thing is clarity. Even when I'm long-winded, or even if they're long-winded, I just want to be able to make sure that I understand as much as I can where you're coming from. And if I don't get it, I'm gonna need you to help me figure out how to get it, because I can't see it from where you are, but I want to. Just because conflict like that makes me feel uneasy, like it makes me feel like I have diarrhea, like my stomach hurt real bad.
So
So
here's the thing. There's going to be times where you're not always going to be able
oh yeah,
to,
absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely not. And I think that a practice on that one for me is I can agree to disagree. At the end of the day, it's like, even if I wholly understand where you're coming from, that doesn't necessarily mean that we have to agree. I can get it. I can see it. I say, okay, you feel like that. That's where you're coming from. And I can see why you feel like that, but that's not how I'm feeling or where I'm coming from. And at this point, can we get by and agree to disagree?
I'm a 3 strikes type of person. So the first time, whether it's your issue or my issue, we're going to talk about it and see if we come to an understanding. If we can agree to disagree, great. If it happens again, okay, it's like, remember when we talked about such and such and such? I feel like on the third time, depending on what it is, obviously, because everything isn't a huge issue, but on the third time, now I feel like you did that. How I am, I feel like you disrespected me because now you do it on purpose. So now, to me, you struck out. And when I say it, yeah, it's going to be destructive. So let's try to make sure we solve it on the first attempt because we don't want to get to 3. It's not good for me and my mental and my peace. And 100% is damn sure not going to be good for you. Because I come to destroy. Like I'm taking whatever I've observed over this time is all going to come up. Because best believe I took a log of everything because I remember everything.
If you guys, question for you guys. So if you guys are upset and you guys walk away, or you go to your opposite corners, or whatever, a blow up happens, something happens and you walk away mad, how do you personally, what communication wise, how do you personally prefer to kind of look to re-break that ice? So yeah, it may be an argument or something like that. It's not something that's going to break the bank and completely break the relationship, but your ass is sleeping on the couch tonight. Kind of blow up. Like after that, how do you guys like to repair afterwards? Like, do they have to wait for you? Do you prefer for them to come to you and start the repair process? And I'm not talking about the relationship is done, kind of blow up. I mean, like spit spat, kind of normal thing. What are you?
I've been in that situation where it's like, if I don't feel like I did anything wrong, you need to come to me because I didn't do nothing wrong. It wouldn't have been no problem if you didn't start it. So you need to come to me. Now it's I told you I'm a work in progress. Okay. But there has been times where I'm like, okay, it's been like 3 days. We haven't talked. You feel like talking yet? Because what's going on? Even still, I feel like I didn't do nothing wrong. You started this again. It wouldn't have been a problem if you didn't jump stupid. So,
No, I can't go that long. For me, it's even if I feel that I am not in the wrong, for me, I like peace of mind. I like to get things resolved. I don't like negative energy around me. So I would do a couple things. Sometimes like we be in the same damn house. I can send that Negro a text and be like, hey, you ready to talk now? And then he'd be like, you know what? Yeah, let's have a talk. We'll come to the little central area. We'll meet. We'll hash it out. And other times, like, I'll pull out the old school mama thing. Hey, you hungry? Hey, food bring everybody together. Sometimes you got to come and get the little sweet spot. Like I know you're not going to turn down the food, and at the end of the day, you either going to ask me what are we eating for dinner or whatever. We're going to have a conversation before the end of the night anyway. So I just know that at some point, either one of us is going to make sure we have that conversation before the day ends because I just don't like holding on to that negative energy. But again, I'll either say, you know what, it's really bothering me, even though this person is trying to hold out and be, stubborn. Hey, let's get this off our chest. Let's say what we got to say. And sometimes I have to teach myself patience because, like, again, I'm not perfect because I am rebuttal queen. I got a response for your ass every time. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, listen, hear it all the way through because if I interject now, I may not get the full picture, and then we're back at square one. So, and sometimes he'll let me know, hey, babe, I'm not finished talking. And sometimes I'm like, did he just put me?
I'm shushing me.
Not you putting me in my place. That's kind of sexy, but okay. I'm gonna let you finish.
Take a deep breath in your chest, like all the way in your chest. You're just like,
I'm gonna let you finish.
Yeah. I don't mind as far as like who breaks the silence or breaks the ice first. In my, experience, it's normally been me because I'm like you usually. I don't like tension or, discord in the house or me between, somebody that I'm with. So I'd rather just fix it and let's just get it out the way. I have in the past. I definitely don't do it now because I'm a lot better at setting boundaries and making sure I'm clear. When it comes to communicating, but I've definitely been the one to say I'm sorry, even though I did not think I was wrong. Matter of fact, I know I wasn't wrong, but just to at least, make sure there's peace in the house because I don't like that. But yeah, it doesn't matter who does it first. In the past, it definitely been me. Now, I mean, I ain't been in a relationship in a while, but now I don't know. It would depend on what it is because I could be stubborn too, like very stubborn. Very stubborn. And once my mind is set that that's the way it is, it's very, very, very hard to convince me otherwise. That's why I never been good at like sales or being sold something because you got to really convince me that this is what I need to have or how I need to be thinking or how I need to be moving. And if I feel like you're wrong, more than likely because I am an overthinker, I've already thought about it and analyzed all points. I've listened to you, analyzed what you said, thought about my perspective, did some research because I'm a researcher too. And then once I make up my mind that the answer is A, the answer is A.
Period.
I don't care what you say. The answer A.
And so what do you do if somebody is just trying to get their point across, right? And you guys aren't seeing eye to eye, and they're like, they do not understand how you don't see where they're coming from. What do you do in a situation like that? Because like I said, you're not always going to see eye to eye.
Right. And I think I think as each of you have, me personally, I think you have to go back to your respective ding ding corners and decide if this is something that's, again, going to break the bank, or is this something that we can agree to disagree on, or is there a further conversation that needs to happen with, okay, we can't agree on this. This is very material. We're going to have to figure out what to do to move forward on that. Like I think that because yeah, you're gonna get to some things, but it just depends as a whole. Is it worth it? It's just like a little back and forth, and you guys are just getting on each other's nerves, or is this like a deep down, like soul breaking, splitting kind of argument? And I think a lot of times, most of the time, it's not. Like in the moment, the feelings say yeah, because feelings are valid, but feelings aren't facts. But if you come back and see that, because for me, most things are funny. So a lot of times I laugh it off. And if I know they're still hot about it, sometimes I'll use sex to like make it up to you. If I'm like, okay, I'm tired of fussing about this. We're not going to see eye to eye, but it's really not that important. Next week, nobody's going to be thinking about this. And so if I don't feel like apologizing, I'm a crawl up. I'm gonna be like, like, the McDonald's, but McPanties kind of thing. Like, are we really gonna keep fighting about this? Because this is how
Sorry.
and usually it works, because at the end of the day, we get to see, like, in the grand scheme of things, like how silly it is, if it's something like that. But it's corners, but it's also just, to me, it's just kind of trying to listen through it, and is it going to be a big deal later on?
Yeah. What about you today? I don't know about, in your experience, not necessarily your marriage. Have y'all come to a like, listen, I'm not budging, you not budging.
Yeah. And
This is what it is.
sometimes you just need to tell people when you know you're right about something and you got facts, all you have to tell them, go to God, ask for discernment, ask for wisdom, and then come back and ask me the same shit that you were saying. Because if you talk to God and God tell you the answer and you know you're wrong, just be ready to apologize. Because at that point, you ain't got nothing to say. When someone has facts, and I'm the type of person, I don't come at nobody until I know I have the facts. I make sure that there are several offenses that are repetitive behaviors before I say, okay, this is a problem. We need to address it. So you can't even say, oh, dang, this is the first time I did this. Why? No, this is like your third time doing this. And I want to address like what's really going on. But again, there's other ways to smooth things out. As women, we are crafty people. And we find our ways to find resolution. But at the end of the day, that's another reason why I don't like things to be going on for too long. Because like I said, I am a very physical touch type of person. And I ain't got time for you to be being mad. Like, I need my cuddles. I need my vitamin D, like all that stuff. So
Right. Like that Beyonce song, let me sit this ass on.
Yeah. So
that's why I think it's important, especially in romantic relationships, to make what your deal breakers are from the beginning before you even start dating anybody. And then once you are, y'all figure out that this is going to be something serious. Like, hey, these are kind of the things that are a no-go for me. And then figure out what you're willing to budge on and what you're not willing to budge on. I think a lot of times we don't do that, and then the person starts showing their ass. We're like, wait a minute, I don't like ass though. So like, why are you doing that? Because you never told them in the beginning that you don't like ass. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you gotta make sure. I'm just using that example, but make sure you set that from the beginning.
But also, I think like having self accountability too, because we talk about when we do have the facts and we know we right, but it's like on the flip side when we wrong.
Yeah.
Got to be able to own that too. Not to say that happens often.
I was gonna say, how often is that happening?
Yeah, however,
what?
Purple aubergine moon kind of.
Okay, there we go.
But on the rare occasion that I'm wrong, you got to be able to be okay with I think being able to be the one to be like, shit,
Yeah.
you know, I was wrong.
Glad I don't have to do that often. Whew.
I know, right. But the letter L is still in the alphabet, and sometimes you got to take it and be like, you know what, you're right. That hurts saying that even now. It was scary, but sometimes it has to be. I'm scratching like, ow. But sometimes I feel like that has to be said, and sometimes I think we also, again, the I'm sorry and you are right kind of thing.
Can't we just leave it at I'm sorry? Why you got to throw the you right in there? Is that necessary?
It's hard. I mean, we're Scorpio, so that's going to be damn near impossible anyway. It's like eating the Popeyes bread and someone telling you to speak. You're like, water, sweet tea. Like, like it's stuck.
Yeah.
But I think
I've never said you right. I'm gonna say I'm sorry.
if the person is unequivocally correct and there is nothing I can do to fight that, I've practiced myself to the point of saying, you know what, I'm sorry. Because I know when I'm right, I want you right. I want that. Like, I want that confirmation of, you know what, babe, you right. And I'm gonna be like,
I've definitely said it, but I put my head down, close my eyes, so I have to look you in your face when I say
it hurts. I'm like, okay.
Like, you know what? Okay, you were right. But I'm not gonna look you in your eyes because it's really painful for me to do that.
I may be petty for like, a couple hours, a little bitter Betty for a little bit.
Yeah. I know for men, it's like vindication, because they always say women, we don't take accountability. So for them, it's like, yeah, I'm the man. I was right, But this has been a great discussion. Healthy communication is important. We all need to have it. We all need to work on it. Clearly, y'all can hear from us. We all got work to do. We're working in progress. Felicia.
Yeah, you right. See, you right. See, I can tell you. Because I'm not in a relationship with you, so I can tell you. It's
in a friendship.
In a relation. Yeah, but that's
a friendship.
But that's different.
Get that.
I get that.
Got it. We made progress. See, this podcast
that's different,
purpose, and we're doing big things, changing lives. Every episode,
one podcast at a time.
All right, y'all. So we're gonna put our socials up here, and see where you can like, share, follow, comment. Let us know how you communicate. If you're a good communicator, if you got some tips from us, we don't have to do this again with the therapist on, so you can let us know how we do this properly, because that's kind of what they do, right? They help you learn communication skills.
Yeah.
But that's all we got for y'all. We'll see y'all next time. Peace out.
Bye.